Hey Digidestined, it's Ty from Digimon. Make sure you subscribe to Dimsy's domain for the best Digimon content.
Metal Digimon have two truths to them. They are either a cyborg type, they are also part of the Metal Empire family. However, it must be noted that there are some Digimon which are exceptions. These include Metal Guruman, who shares the Metal Empire family but is a machine type, Metal Tyrannomon, who is an aquatic type and is in the Deep Savers family, Metallic Dramon, who is the Sky Dragon type and no stated family, Metalleaf Kawagumon, which is an insect type of the Nature Spirits family, Death Metal Greymon, who made his debut in the one-shot pilot manga Come On Digimon in 1997. This is essentially Deathmon, who absorbed the data of Greymon, who was also very close to becoming a Metal Greymon. There is no listed type nor family, but fun fact, the protagonist of that manga, Kentaro Kamon, was the source and inspiration of the character design of our main hero, Tai of the Digimon Adventure series. If there are any other Metal Digimon who do not have both the cyborg type and be part of the Metal Empire family, let me know in the comments down below and consider subscribing while you're at it. This video will give Dimsy's domain's favorite Metal Digimon. What does this mean? This means that strength is not necessarily the deciding factor here. It's as biased as you can get. And believe me, my number one on the list is straight up just me being a diehard fan of this Digimon. So it's just purely subjective. So don't get annoyed if my number one is different to your number one. This is all just fun and it should just stay fun. So comment down below your list of who the best Metal Digimon is. Some more rules. We will not consider the X-antibody forms of the Metal Digimon and ideally favor the Metal Digimon who've had an anime appearance. All Digimon listed are of the cyborg type and are part of the Metal Empire family. I hope this clears things up. Now, let's rank my favorite Metal Digimon, starting with number 8, Metal Maman. In Digimon Adventure 02, Metal Maman, and Big Maman appeared in France, holding Catherine, one of the international Digidestined, and her partner Floramon hostage. Greymon and Angemon fought them until the arrival of Guruman, who had originally kidnapped Catherine and Floramon. Greymon, Angemon, and Floramon digivolved to Metal Greymon, Magna Angemon, and Kiwimon. Guruman and the Maman brothers were defeated by the Metal Greymon while Magna Angemon destroyed the nearby control spire. He also appeared in Digimon Fusion, where he was a follower of Garbagemon. The main reason why I would say Metal Maman is at the bottom of the list is quite simple, and I'm sure most of you watching will agree with me. He's just too small. Don't get me wrong, he has that cool looking Wolverine claw on his right hand and that big cannon on his left arm, which can do some damage. As we saw in that episode in Adventure 02, he can be a bit of a nuisance, and I love the fact that it's not a missile coming out of his cannon fire. The Metal Digimon mostly launch missiles out of their metallic bodies, so it's quite refreshing to see him launching an actual red beam out of his left arm. So that I would say is a plus for Metal Maman. He got Demi Devimon's head shape. It's like if you fuse Demi Devimon with some hardcore metal, you will end up with Metal Maman. But yes, he's number 8 on the list. Number 7, Metal Kabutoman. Metal Kabutoman made his appearance in Digimon Frontier when JP executed his Beast Spirit evolution to transform into him. Now guys, remember, this list is pure bias. The reason why he's so low in the list is straight up, I just don't like his color. If his whole body was silver instead of that purple navy color, then I think he would be higher up on the list. I do love the fact he has treads instead of legs, very similar to Tankmon, but the color on those is silver. Why couldn't the whole body be silver? Don't get me wrong guys, I get the beetle gimmick and that is usually a beetle's color, but I'm just not a fan of that color. I do like the fact that he's got 2 cannons as arms, unlike Metal Maman who only had 1, which does make him stand out more out of all the Metal Digimon. He looks like he could be a transformer and be part of Cybertron. I do also love his attacks. When it comes to the elemental attacks, fire, water, ice, ground, lightning, I was always a fan of lightning. Like look at the original Beyblade series. You had Dranza who was fire, Drasil who was water, Dragoon who was air, and my favorite, Trigger, who was lightning. When lightning attacks and a combat style based on lightning, when it is done well, I tend to lean towards that more. He has an electric cannon on the top of his head which unleashes his field destroyer attack. I love everything about him, it's just that color that I don't like on him. If he had Metal Etomon silver on him, that would be perfect. I think it would match the gold exterior parts well with that silver, but that's just my opinion. Number 6, Metal Tyrannomon. We literally had him wreak all sorts of havoc in the last few episodes of Digimon 2020. In Digimon Tamers, Dark Tyrannomon attacks Maildramon, who was chasing Kalamon. Their fight causes an explosion that blows Kabutoman into the real world, but Kabutoman catches a glimpse of Dark Tyrannomon digivolving into Metal Tyrannomon and destroyed Mildramon. This might have been caused by Takato and Kazu, who were playing the Digital Monsters card game, and they happened to do the exact same thing. In Digimon Frontier, when Ophanimon tells the Digidestined about Cherubimon invading Seraphimon's castle, a Metal Tyrannomon was seen as part of his beast army, and in Digimon Fusion as well, Metal Tyrannomon is the first Digimon Tagiru captures. He looks awesome. I was always a fan of the Tyrannomon family, and Metal Tyrannomon steps up to the plate. I mentioned in my review that he's a Metal Godzilla, and that's exactly what he is. He launches lasers from one hand and missiles from the other. I love those little red and blue circuits on his body. It makes it feel as though he literally came out of a test tube, like some mad scientist was experimenting on Dark Tyrannomon and turned him metal, but something went wrong and Metal Tyrannomon was all confused and went on a mad rampage. But the circuits were meant to be taken off, but they are still on. Obviously that's not what happened, but that's what it feels like could have happened, with the circuits being part of that test tube. It's like the circuits are not meant to be there, but they are, and it completes his full metallic look. He just looks like a total badass. But one question I want to ask you guys is, should the color have stayed red or black? Red being Tyrannomon's color and black being Dark Tyrannomon's color. Would you guys have preferred those colors instead of that silver? Let me know your opinions down below in the comments. Number 5. Metal Phantomon. In Digimon Data Squad, during their mission into the digital world, the members of DATS were captured by Dokugomon, who were Metal Phantomon's minions. He then subjected them to nightmares in order to feed off their despair. However, Thomas, who was being forced to relive his mother's death, broke free. Thomas triggered the activation of his empowered Digisoul, which allowed Gaomon to digivolve to Makgagomon, who then destroyed Metal Phantomon. Metal Phantomon reminds me of Ghost Rider with that demonic metal skull. He reminds me of Ghost Rider and Skull Meramon solely because of that metal skull. And that's a compliment, by the way. I love Skull Meramon. So if you're being compared to him, it's only a positive. The crazy thing is, his whole skeleton is metal. It just gives that Grim Reaper feel way more threatening. Phantomon was an okay threat back in the original Digimon Adventure, but he wasn't anything special other than that staff he kept on carrying around. You never really felt scared of him. However, Metal Phantomon, showing his metal skeleton, brings that fear to a whole new level. Skeletons in general are quite creepy to look at. Now imagine a metal skeleton making you relive the worst days of your life. That's just a madness. Some of you might be surprised that he's above Metal Tyrannomon, and don't get me wrong, Metal Tyrannomon looks cool, but how often do you see a metal skeleton in a cape mind controlling people? Rarely. So that is the reason why he's above Metal Tyrannomon. He's scary, cunning, and he's a force to be reckoned with. So that's why he is number 5. Number 4. Metal Etomon. Metal Etomon made his epic rockstar comeback in the original Digimon Adventure, but sadly he got wiped out by Saber Leomon. Etomon in general is one of my favorite characters, period. I love his gimmick and I love the fact that he doesn't take himself too seriously. But when he returned as Metal Etomon, I thought they were going to change things up and he was going to be a super serious villain like a Myotismon or a Devimon. But thankfully that wasn't the case. Don't get me wrong, he was serious enough to kill Saber Leomon, but he still kept his funny personality. I love my villains who can make me laugh, and don't get me wrong guys, I like villains who are serious as well, but come on, one of Etomon's attacks is called the Banana Split. How can you not love that? His design as well, I love the red Japanese writing on his chest, as well as that gold chain which makes him look more of a rock star than before. He looks like a proper gangster now. He even got gold teeth to match his gold chain. The major difference I like between Etomon and Metal Etomon is his face. Aside from his torso, Etomon's body is full on bright orange, but then when you get to his face, his hair, his chin is the same orange color, but the rest of his face is light brown. But then when you go to Metal Etomon, there's no difference in color. It's just one color from the top of his head to his feet. That sharp silver Digizoid color. I prefer that over how Etomon's design was. It just keeps it simple, and with the nails on his shoulders and the red Japanese writing, it just adds to that point that this is a battle-hardened Digimon. He went through hell to get to this mega form, and that's why Metal Etomon is where he is on the list. Number 3. Metal Greymon Virus Form. We just saw Metal Greymon in all his glory in the latest episode of the Digimon 2020 series. He looked awesome there. But for me, Metal Greymon in his contaminated dark virus form that we see when Ken used his dark spiral to control Agumon to make him Dark Digivolve into Metal Greymon, that form for me is the best looking form out of the two Metal Greymons. I'll be honest guys, Metal Greymon in his normal form looks good, but he would be number 4 on the list, below Metal Etomon. But for me, the virus form takes him just above Metal Etomon. The main reason for this is the skin color. Metal Greymon in his normal pure form with the orange skin color doesn't match the color of his wings, which is purple. And his wings are massive, so it's impossible to ignore. I've always felt, and maybe it's just me, before we saw the virus form, I always thought that the color of the wings was a weird choice. Why did they go for that purple? Metal Greymon's skin is bright orange with blue stripes. If anything, why couldn't you match the color of the wings with the blue stripes? Or even make it silver, matching his silver chestplate and his metal claw? But when you see the virus form, it's just perfection. This is the definitive and perfect look for Metal Greymon for me. His wings match the color of his dark navy skin. Hell, even his stripes are a darker tone now, which matched the wings as well. And in that episode where Ken was controlling him, he had red blood eyes. It just gives him more of a menacing demonic look. The normal Metal Greymon is awesome, and as awesome as he looks too much like an action figure. And his wings looks like a butterfly's wings because it's so different to the rest of the body and it stands out too much. It's like another Digimon's wings got stuck into Metal Greymon. That's how much his wings bothered me. Am I the only one that feels that way? But yes guys, I prefer the virus version of Metal Greymon over the regular version of Metal Greymon.
Now wait, you're too nice. You haven't even mentioned Metal Greymon from the Digimon Fusions anime, the one in Now that Metal Greymon looked like an absolute blue abomination, a bootleg Iron Man that was dyed in blue. Why does he look like that? Well, that was male Birdmon's armor on top of Greymon's power. And yeah, he strengthened him in certain ways without hindering his fighting strength of Greymon, who specializes in close combat fighting. But the problem is, he looks trash. That blue armor, that little red slit for his eyes, it looks cheap, it looks tacky, it looks uncool. The thing about Metal Greymon, which I personally did not like, is that one arm, his head, well, helmet, half his head, and the chest plates are metallic. Everything else seems to be the same. Now, if you're gonna be a metal Digimon, you ought to be fully metal like Metal Etomon. The only reason why Metal Greymon looks as good as he does is purely because of the fact that he's a dinosaur and he just looks cool. He has a cool design. Now, the virus form, as mentioned earlier, is the best looking one because the skin and the wings, they all match up. It just works, it flows. But this 2010 anime version of Metal Greymon does not flow. It doesn't look good, it looks trash. If anyone who watched original Digimon looks at that, they're gonna be like, what? That's Metal Greymon? Are you serious? It's offensive to just look at. And I had to mention it. I know you don't want to. You want to ignore it like everyone else, like I do. I want to forget that even existed. But the truth of the matter is, it does exist. Now, another thing we need to talk about Metal Greymon is his moveset is absolutely badass with the Giga Blaster, the Trident Arm, and with the new 2020 anime, the Giga Storm. If you take into account his size, Metal Greymon really does look like a threat, look like a game changer. He looks like a beast, a explosive dinosaur. I think Metal Greymon is deservedly up there as the best Metal Digimon if you take into account what he can achieve and what believable factor he brings to the table, whereas the 2010 version of Metal Greymon is trashy, is wacky, is tacky, is shit. It's absolute trash, and we need to forget him because there's only one true Metal Greymon.
Number 2, Metal Guruman. I love Metal Guruman. You guys already know the story with him, so I don't really need to elaborate too much on him. But Metal Guruman is just not only one of the best looking Metal Digimon, but just in general, one of the best looking Digimon in the Digimon universe, period. He's a machine ready for a war. He launches a giant ice missile from his belly, as well as launching a good dozen ice missiles from the rest of his body. Like the time in our war game when he launched the Ice Wolf Bites attack on Diaboromon. He radiates invisible lasers from the 4 laser sights on its snout. And because of them, he is able to analyze the targets before using all of his sensors, such as infrared rays and X-rays. It is impossible to escape Metal Guruman, even among the darkness outside of his field of vision, which we have seen in the original. Metal Guruman has so many weapons in his body, you can literally lose count. His snout is not only a sensor, but it's also an ice beam attack. How cool is that? A lot of people might think you go from Guruman, who is a standing wolf, to then going back to all fours as a metallic wolf in his mega form. People might feel that's a disappointing move and would rather have Guruman as the mega whilst having Metal Guruman as the ultimate, to match Metal Greymon, who is also an ultimate. Guys, don't get me wrong, Guruman is epic. And I love the howl he does at the end of his transformation sequence. But Metal Guruman is like Inspector Gadget, but just as a killer metallic wolf who can also shoot ice beams from his mouth, like the way he killed Puppetman. I wish we saw more of Metal Guruman fight one-on-one. We saw Greymon having a lot of 1v1s. I wish Metal Guruman got the same treatment. Like Metal Guruman vs Machinedramon would have been epic to see. Metal Guruman has more weapons than we can count, and because of that variety, he is up there. Even those gold wings that he uses, it matches his skin color perfectly, unlike Metal Kabutoman. Metal Guruman is severely underrated, and he deserves more love from the fans, so that's why he's number 2 on this list.
No, he shouldn't be number 2. He should be lower. Metal Greymon should be higher than him. We had a good 2 or 3 hour argument as to why he doesn't even deserve to be on the list. I don't like Metal Guruman. Excuse me, you're like, people think that Guruman's better than Metal. Yeah, I am people. Guruman is better than Metal Guruman. And you know what? I challenge you. We're gonna make a video talking about why Metal Guruman is absolute trash. You can give the 4. I'll give the against. I hate Metal Guruman. I think it's a pile of trash. He doesn't even deserve to be on this list. I hate him. I hate Metal Guruman. But I must add that Black Metal Guruman does look cool, and with the possibility of having a Zwart Omegamon or a Black Omnimon, yeah, Black Metal Guruman does look good, but we haven't seen him in the anime, so yeah, we can't really talk about him. But Metal Guruman's trash, I guess. Yeah, oops.
Number 1. Metal Seadramon, one of the 4 Dark Masters of the original Digimon adventure, and was also among the many Digimon seen through the rip in the sky during Vikaloman's rampage, and was among the mega level Digimon called to aid the Digimon Sovereigns in their fight against the D-Reaper back in Digimon Tamers. Metal freaking Seadramon, my personal favorite Digimon out of all the Digimon. If I were a Digidestin and were to choose a partner Digimon, it would be Metal Seadramon. I love his English voice in the original dub. He's basically a classic Chinese dragon, but metal, like a Gyarados or a Shenron, but metal. And to top it all off, he is also the king of the sea. His skin is gold, chrome Digizoid gold. His snout is gold. He even has his giant metal knife coming out of his head, which is also gold. He is the beast of the sea that can breathe fire. How epic is that? How many other sea monsters do you know that can breathe fire? His snout is probably the most dangerous snout in the whole digital world. With him unleashing his deadly River of Power attack, he might not have as much moves as Metal Guruman, but in terms of pure aesthetics and just design, color, and overall look, Metal Seadramon is the best looking Digimon out there in my opinion. I will go more into depth on why I love Metal Seadramon so much in my top 10 Digimon villains video, so stay tuned for that guys. But yes, for me Metal Seadramon is the number 1 Metal Digimon. Again guys, this is just a bit of fun. Comment down below who's your favorite Metal Digimon and rank your own list of Metal Digimon. I would love to read them. You guys know we at Dimsy's Domain always try our best to reply to every comment, so please let us know your favorites. Hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to stay up to date with our content. And as always, care for nothing.